Every time I look at my setup for an art market, even I'm convinced I have my life together. But let's be honest, that's not always the case. Getting to this point actually takes a lot of prep, patience, and trial and error. Hey, I'm Jess, the artist behind The Loopy Lefty, where it's mostly calligraphy and occasionally curse words. And in this video, I'll take you through all the prep that really goes into an art market. Greeting cards were the first product I ever offered, so I kind of have this part down to a science. A lot of effort went into hand lettering and hand drawing each card, and restocking really required a lot more planning because it could take upwards of 10 minutes to make each card. However, now I'm printing my cards, so some of that artistic labor is lighter. And that means, luckily for my customers, there's a slightly lower price point. But I'm still cutting and packing all cards by hand, so that takes a minute. And a huge piece of this that most people don't think about is tracking inventory. That took me literally years to streamline. I've tried everything from handwritten lists in a notebook to complicated Excel spreadsheets. And fortunately, I think I have a good system now. I finally just bit the bullet and keep it all in Square. It requires a little bit more techie work, so that's why I was hesitant to make the switch over to a website like Square, but I've kept it as bare bones as possible and it's working well for me. It tracks all my inventory in one spot and automatically readjusts the inventory numbers as I sell stuff at a show. Hand-lettered signs are actually my favorite thing to make, and it's not just because I get to use power tools. Although that is pretty awesome. But really, it's because I get to flex a slightly different creative muscle. I've been playing around with different lettering styles and floral accents to jazz things up. They're one of my higher priced items because of all the labor and creativity that go into each one, and I already sell a pretty niche product with a unique sense of humor, so all the stars really have to align for the right customer to come along for one of these signs. Signs, though, are high risk, high reward. They require so much time to prep and make, and they don't always sell. They're very hit or miss at my markets. So, although I truly enjoy this process, it's not great in terms of like a return on my investment. Now that all my planning, prep work, and restocking is finished, all you have to do now is just show up at the market and set up your tent. But that's a whole other process in and of itself. I am a one-woman operation, so when I get to my markets, I'm usually setting up by myself. Every once in a while, I'll have someone help me, but a lot of these markets have a really early setup time for the vendors, so it's usually just easier for me to fly solo. And if you can't tell from the videos, I'm a shorty. I'm barely 5 feet tall. Popping my tent and setting up the folding tables takes longer than I'd like to admit, simply because I don't have the wingspan to move as quickly as other people. I also love changing up my stock with new items and ideas, which means my inventory is always a little bit different for each show. So although some artists and vendors can roll up to an event and do the same setup over and over, they can just like set up their display in their sleep, that's usually not the case for me. But I guess that's the price you have to pay for being too creative. If you like knowing all of this behind the scenes stuff, I share more of it in my email list. I also give previews on things I'm working on, first dibs on new products, and exclusive sales over there. So I'll leave the sign up link in the video description if you want to join. Getting to the market is always the hardest part of the process, but it's only really the first part of the process. Now I've got to actually work the market and then break everything down and take it home at the end of the day. But I'll worry about that later. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.